Let's get started. Good morning, and thanks everyone for joining us. We are here with Bill McKenna.
Hi.
And Amelia from Psy-Tek. We're so pleased to have her as a guest this morning.
Oh, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. So I'm hoping that most of you do know Bill McKenna, author of The Only Lesson, and also inventor of Cogno Movement, which is what we're here to talk about today. Super exciting. Bill has asked Amelia to come on this morning from Psy-Tek. Amelia is a neuroscience and energy researcher, that's a mouthful, and she's a neuroscientist for Psy-Tek. Psy-Tek, if you don't know already, will be attending our seminar this upcoming weekend, the 14th and 15th in San Diego, and they will be doing some amazing testing before the seminar and after the seminar to test our results. And so I am going to just open the meeting. Bill, if you want to just get us started really quickly, and then we'll hear from Amelia, and she's going to show us everything that Psy-Tek does. Again, guys, please address any questions in the chat room. We'll alert Bill and Amelia that you have a question, and Bill, we'll see if we can get them all answered. We'll do some question and answer after the seminar as well. So let's get started.
Hey, thank you. Hey, first of all, thank you everyone for attending on your Sunday morning here. This particular webinar is going to be of interest to you because, when I invented Cogno Movement, I saw the results. There were people, getting hot and issues going away and physically feeling sensations along the center line of the body. And I knew we were getting results, but I didn't have any scientific proof of it. It's like, yeah, Bill, right. And by good fortune, I ran into Psy-Tek laboratory. So this laboratory actually does scientific testing on the human bioenergy field. The same type of tests that you've seen some of the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza and some of his laboratory testing and that sort of scientific testing. I was excited to get the test. At the same time, I was like, oh my gosh, I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know, I don't know if the results will scientifically be proven out and shown in a report. And anyway, so great news is, number one, they were willing to work with me. And number two is that my wife graciously offered to be the test victim of this. So we went up, did the test, and I'll tell you, I don't want to disturb what Amelia from the neuroscientist from Psy-Tek Labs is going to talk about, but wow, amazing results, and I'm going to get into the results and actually what happened. It's a wonderful stuff. So go take it away, Amelia. I'm so happy you're here. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. It is a true pleasure to be here, and it was a wonderful pleasure meeting you at the Bioregenesis. I loved hearing about your seminar, your work, and I think it's amazing. And as you know, we have a lot of subjective feedback. People saying, oh, I feel better, but there's never been good science validation to be able to show the efficacy of what's actually moving through the system. As you know, everything starts in the energetic field before it will manifest into the physical field, whether it's pain or a psychosomatic maybe experience that you store and you hold on to. So now science is coming to the point where the technology is able to actually measure energy fields. So what I can start with is what we're going to be doing at your seminar, the before and after, and what your wife was able to see. So it can actually measure the subtle energy field. And then Leah, if you don't mind putting up a picture, the GDB brochure, or the flyer, I guess, with the fingers at the top.
So as we're waiting on this, just real quick, everybody gets this who physically, you're going to have to be in San Diego to get the test, but I'm including this for you included with the price of your admission. You'll get this test, and it's a before and after test. So you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries. This is great. So what you can see right here is we take a measurement of one of the fingertips, each of the fingertips. So we'll measure, I don't know if I can move this a little bit on the screen. Yes, perfect. So right here is the actual image taken of the finger. So we're looking at the biophotonic emissions, the energy field coming out of each of the fingertips. And then this right here is shown in the energetic field. So the algorithm puts it to colors so we can actually map it. And then here it places it around the body. Similar to reflexology, how one spot will coordinate to different parts of the body, different organs. Same thing with the energetic field. So you can see it laid out around the finger and then how it corresponds around the body. And that is also shown right down here. So if you look at the flyer, down on the bottom left, you'll see a healthy person on the left with the aura. Mm-hmm. And then on the right is someone who has less energy, the breaks in the aura field. You can see the difference between a healthy and a non-healthy individual. And then we also can see the chakras. And I'll get into a little bit more of that with the next slide so I can explain exactly what's going on. Yep, perfect. So this is what I was saying. You can really see the difference, the healthy glow. There are no breaks in the pattern. Whereas the person on the right, there are a lot of breaks in the field, low energy. It's just not... it's not strong. They don't have much energy, life force, I should say. So we'll go to the next slide. Okay, and another thing we're able to see, that is a little blurry of an image, but this is a health diagram. So each one of these words will correspond to, one is the hypothalamus or the spleen. Over here is the gut and the liver. So what we can do is when I like it. Yes, I didn't know if I'm on the screen or just the flyers on the screen, but yes, here we go. So you can actually see, yes, perfect. Thank you, Bill. Yeah. And we can actually see the difference because when we take these images, we take 10 with a filter, and that will look at the emotional body. And then we take 10 again, without the filter and then with the filter, and it will filter out the emotional body, the psycho-spiritual aspect of our lives. And we can have a clear understanding of what is physical and what is actually in an emotional stuck pattern in our field. So that's the difference between even on here. Now this is actually mine. I'm showing you mine because I had printed them off so I could show you. So you can see the difference between a filter and a no filter. Because sometimes, let's say we're looking at the spleen, even on this health diagram. So we're looking at the spleen. So we're going to have the two circles. So one can measure the spleen's energetic activity, meaning if the spleen is very depleted or it's not in balance, it could be someone thinking too much. It means your brain is just going and going and going. So that's the energetic aspect of the spleen. Whereas if on the physical, the filtered image of the biophotonic image, it could be the spleen is way off. So we know it's actually a physical spleen issue and not an overthinking emotional issue, if that makes sense. So there is a way to decipher between the two. Carrying on. I can't see the screen, so I'm not quite sure what everyone's able to see. Oh, hey, perfect. Excellent, Leah. Thank you. And so another aspect that we are able to measure would be the chakras. And I'm sure everyone watching is pretty familiar with the chakras, being that is one of the big principles of your class. So what we can do is look at the before and after. So if you see on here, and you see the lit up balls. So each one will correspond with a specific chakra, starting at the base, the root chakra, the sacral, solar plexus, going up through the heart, throat, then the ajna, the third eye, and then the crown chakra. So we can actually see the movement from before and after. You see the little balls on the side that are more shadowed out. So we can see the movement. And I think this is what Bill was referring to that is so spectacular. And I'll let you, Bill, share the experience with your wife. But we can actually show quantitatively. So it's not just the subjective, but the actual scientific measurement of the movement of the energetic field. And then, Bill, your wife had an experience, and we were able to show.
Oh gosh, thanks for thank you. Number one, thank you. If you keep that, you might want to keep that one up, that other slide. But or maybe this will do it. But this is my wife's, and you can see right over here where this is a before and after. The shadow was the before, and then there's an after there. Now she's not a very good subject because on account of she's fairly in alignment. You can see that she was in alignment before, pretty much. Just but the interesting thing is right here. The after shot. This ball is larger than the original space of that third chakra. Here's the amazing thing is okay, somebody needs muting there. Okay, so this right here, the movement that she had was in this second and third chakra. So the amazing thing is that during the cognitive movement process, the issue was related to, and when I say related to, I mean these things have certain functionality in your life. Second chakra is about relationships, and third chakra is about your control, right? Either being controlled or trying to control, those type of aspects of our life. And the amazing thing is that not only mentally, when she did the cognitive movement ball, that's what she was working on with cognitive movement. That's number one. Number two is she physically felt it only in those two places. It physically felt painful as she did it in both of those, and then the pain went away. It went from a 10 down to a 1. And so not only mentally the issue that was a big issue, it was a 10, went away for her, but the physical sensations corresponded to the chakras, and then the scientific evidence showed that it moved the energy over and expanded it.
Mm-hmm.
So, the other post, what's really interesting is the post effect. So when you clear something up and you have kind of released that issue, cognitive movement does that kind of automatically for you. You're not trying to release an issue. You're just, this is how I feel. You just screw those people. Pop, 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 pop. You you feel it, and you do the exercise, and then it gets released, which you feel in the chakra. But after the fact, strangely enough, as fate would have it, 24 hours later, she's forced into a situation where what would have been traumatic, emotionally, she had absolutely no feeling about it. It's just like, what? I don't know, doesn't even feel anything about it. It's like gone. And that changed other situations. So it changed a dynamic for multiple people. And then on top of that, and here's where it gets really interesting. I think we'll go into this more, Amelia, later, but after your section. But when you release something, that's major and that sort of thing, you actually are increasing the percentage of brain usage, and in that, other things start to happen. For example, all of a sudden, it's very easy for her to clean and declutter. It was which is just a kind of a natural side effect.
Yeah.
Many of you have seen the movie Unlimited, right? Where that guy takes the NZT. I don't know how many people have seen that movie, but he takes this drug and it makes him like he's using 100% of his brain. Very first thing he does, cleans and declutters. I was like laughing to myself when all that happened. Anyway, I got more stories about that. I don't want to.
It's so true, because everything is energy. So if it's stuck inside the body, it can be stuck outside, as within, as around. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. I'm sure you're familiar with that quote. And it's so true, because our perspective, and that's getting more into the neuroscience, but then also with the GDV, everything is thinking, and then energetic, and then physical. So if we can make a transformation on one level, it can have a ripple effect that will change our whole life, essentially, our outlook. And as you said, your wife's experience within 24 hours. So if that experience will change and have a different effect or impact on your psyche, how will that then affect your next correspondence, your next interaction? So it's all a snowball. So it can either snowball in a positive or snowball in almost a heavy way, and life is too short. We've got to declutter our emotional, and then also the piles. I mean, I need to do we're past spring cleaning now to summer cleaning. But it does, we have to stay on top of our mental and physical health for sure.
Amelia and Bill, I want to break it in just for a second. Two things. One, we do have a question that I don't know if we can address, but someone wants to know what the device looks like.
Yeah.
So just to prep you for that a little bit. And also to ask you, we got into the meat of this so quickly that I wanted to ask you to share with us just a little bit, maybe even how Psy-Tek came to be, so that people have an idea of where this is coming from.
Yes. We are on the campus of the California Institute for Human Science, and we started about 10 years ago. I'd have to let our quantum physicist and the founder speak more to that. But Bob is the founder. Bob and Mary are the owners of Psy-Tek, and Bob is more of the technical computer science, and then Mary is a pranic healer, and she runs Pranic Healing of San Diego, and she is more of the psychology. So they came together forming Psy-Tek because they wanted to create a center where we could actually measure energy shifts within the body, because we understand as energy healers and knowing the energy is everything. If we can help put a scientific validation to that, I think it will give credibility to this whole field in general. So I hope that answered some of the questions. I am looking for the picture of the GDV. Oh, actually, I have it. I sent a research brochure over, a 4-panel. If not, I can grab one and show it to the computer.
Leah, do you have the research brochure panel? It's 4 panels.
Well, yeah, perfect.
There it is.
Okay, so you can see on the 3rd column is the GDV. I might have to move this thing so I can see the screen. Yep, perfect. So right down here at the bottom, we actually have both. But we're using the one on the left. It's the research grade, invented by Dr. Konstantin Korotkov. So this is what measures the biophotonic emissions. So this is the one, and if you can see it on the bottom left, you put one finger in. So we capture one finger at a time, and we measure the coronal discharge around the fingertip. So we'll do each of the fingers, and then we'll put a filter, and then filter out the emotional and look at the physical body. So that's what you can see up at the top. So it's the energy field, and then the health diagram, or the two radial charts, and then the chakras. So that's our GDV. And then while you have this pulled up, I'll use this as a segue. If there are any other questions about the GDV, I'm happy to answer those. Another thing that we offer is the medical thermal imaging. And this is something that we really started with because probably a few years ago, we brought the medical thermal imaging on because we wanted to look at the inflammation in the body. As you know, inflammation is 93% of all disease. So if we can catch the inflammation and look at the body, it's almost more of a preventative measure. And then we do have a lot of breast cancer clients or women interested in preventative because we look at the blood flow and the inflammation in the body, where mammography looks at structure. So the cell would have to double, multiple billions of times, up to 8 years before the tumor can grow big enough so that the mammogram can actually capture the structure, where the medical thermal imaging is looking at the heat patterns in our body, and we can measure or notice the angiogenesis, the new blood flow, the blood vessels that form to feed the tumor. So we can see this blood flow up to 8 years before mammography can actually detect the tumor. So this is huge, whether it's arthritis, it's just inflammation. I've become so passionate about that. So that's another thing we offer. And then we'll get to my main passion over on the left is the brain mapping. And I like to focus on the neuropsychoimmunology. So how the power of the mind can control and affect the body, especially in terms of wellness and health. So you'll see on the left, here is our device. It kind of looks like a football helmet. We have 23 electrodes. And back when I started researching the brain, probably 2006, so wow, 12 years ago, it was, I'm sure you're familiar if you've ever heard of brain mapping. It's like a swim cap. It has long cords. You're attached to a computer. And we would have to take a blunt needle and squeeze gel into each of the electrodes and kind of abrade the skin. It was tedious. And we would check the impedance. To see how technology has advanced is just fantastic. So now we have a wireless Bluetooth unit. So there are no cords attached. And it's also dry, so no more a gel or the gunk in your hair. And then each electrode is surrounded by a Faraday cage, so we can accurately capture each of the patterns of the electrical brainwave activity coming from each part of the brain. So you can see up on the top left of the brochure, we will map out the either overactive or underactive parts of the brain. And then you can see right behind is just the raw EEG pattern. Those are the actual brain waves being emitted from the brain.
Okay, so this leads us right into the perfect question. So when people come to the seminar this weekend, they're going to arrive and have their pre-testing done, right, before the seminar. So would you share with us a little bit, like, what's the process? When people show up, what's it going to look like? What can they expect to experience?
Yes, so the first thing will be this GDV. So you're going to see this device right here set up. So it's a quick process. We'll just take your information, put you into the system, and then we will capture the image. So we'll actually capture 20 images, 10 and then 10 with a filter. So then we'll map that out and then get you into this seminar.
So just so everybody is clear, and I'm clear on this, the getting people signed up, getting their information, that's all protected by HIPAA, right? Like this is all private.
Oh, yes, yes.
Very,
Completely
very.
private. We can't share anything. That's why I couldn't even show you on the screen anything. I did bring up mine but it has my name, but because of HIPAA compliance, I can't show anyone else's.
So it's done in very, very private. So, okay, go on, explain what they're going to experience. So they get signed up and then...
And then we'll capture their images. So you feel no pain. It's non-invasive. You won't feel anything. It's just kind of like a photograph. So you're having a picture of your fingertip taken, and it's fairly quick. So what we'll do is we'll put a cape over your arm, just so when you put your hand into the little finger hole right here, that way, because it's actually on a glass plate or a crystal plate. So when you put your finger in, it goes into the little hole, and then the cape will come over so no light can get in, because that's what it's measuring. It's measuring your coronal discharge. So it's actually looking at the light you're emitting. So it truly is. And then once we take those, then we'll have the before of your aura, the energetic field, your health diagram, and then your chakras.
Okay, so they'll have that scan before, and then is the process then repeated after the seminar? So they have before and after results?
Exactly. And I think that's what is so fascinating with Bill's wife, because she had mentioned 2 areas that she could feel activity. And then when we did her after, that was the 2 areas that showed movement. So I just think this is really incredible to be able to put the facts with their feelings.
Yeah, I mean, that's super cool. I know Bill's going to share us a little more of that story. So tell us, what kinds of shifts might a person expect? Do you have some stories for us that might help people kind of get an idea of what this will look like?
Well, yes, I have seen a variety of shifts, because first is the person, how willing they are to let go, to shift, and allow that transformation within themselves. I've seen a lot of people who are willing. So let me show this one again, the chakras, because it all depends on where you are when you come in. So we have people, because there's 2 things you want to look at with the chakras. So one is the alignment. Now, anything within this green is quote unquote normal or within standard deviation. Anything outside, you're out of alignment. So we have the right side and then the left side. So this can also correspond with more of introversion and extroversion, more outgoing, or the more looking into the future. It's going out, where the left is more introverted. So say that the heart was more to the left, way off to the left. It means that you're pulling back. You're hiding your heart. You're covering your heart. Something is making you not shut down, but you're not out there. So, if we see even the throat chakra, being able to speak and speak up. So we have someone who talks a lot and they're very outgoing. They might have their throat chakra over here. Or someone who can't speak up, it might be over here. So not only is there the alignment, but then we have the size of the ball. So if it's depleted energy, it's very weak, you're going to have a smaller ball. But then when we increase the energy, we're giving that chi, the life force, it will increase the size of the ball. So we're looking at 2, and that is depicted right over here. So this is the size of the ball, the amount of energy, and then this is the alignment, how far off of 0 you are. So
and that's what we saw. That's what we saw, Bill, right, with your wife's scan, is in the heart chakra area. Is that right? Not the heart chakra. It was the third chakra.
It was a third. Here'd be, just an let me try to bring it up here. It was the third one, the yellow one. You can see that it was in that area, and it increased in energy. See, that's the yellow before and after on the yellow. So she did increase her energy there. So yeah.
Well, and I personally find that amazing. And I actually would love to hear you talk a little bit more about this, Amelia. So Bill's wife, for those of you who don't know her, and I'm sure you don't, she's a pretty amazing person already with a lot of skills and ability, let's say, put it that way. So when she came in, she was in pretty good alignment, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. And so for us to be able to see a significant shift for her is, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's and the beauty of it, the beauty of this is that it's an attacking the issue from a whole different angle. You've been probably taught, you need to forgive, you have to do it, it's in your interest. But if you can't, because there's such a blah, 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 and you can't help how you feel about it, and that's, it's just, this is how you feel. And there is been no kind of relief for you. Cognitive movement, the beauty of it is that your body will force your mind to process, because you get a higher percentage of brain activity, and that in turn forces the chakra to process it and release it. So having the evidence of this, not only scientifically, but in fact, as real life personal experience, I think is kind of neat.
So your wife came in, had her scan done, her original scan, right? Then she used the cognitive movement system. So how long did you actually work with Michelle doing cognitive movement before you did her after scan?
So it was a total of 30 minutes. So the issue, we checked in with her emotionally. Like when we started, it was a 10, and then at 15 minutes, it went to a 4. And after 30 minutes total, that's, 2 15-minute sessions, it went down to a 1. And that's when we just said, okay, 1's good enough. We'll, everybody's got to go home. We'll do the test. So it was basically a before test, and the before test took about 10 minutes. And then the after test took about, 10 minutes. So that's how long the test seemed to actually take.
So she actually worked with you. So those of you who may not be familiar with how cognitive movement really works. So we've got the ball, where this is what we're talking about that Bill's wife did. She worked with Bill with the ball on her issue, with the cognitive movement pattern. And then in 2 15-minute sessions, correct?
Right.
And then the after results of what we're seeing on that scan is what we saw shift for her. So for a person already really, really in alignment, then she had the shift, which we can see on the scan, correct?
Correct.
Right. And then you'll share with us some of what really happened in the hours after. That's a great story. But actually, Amelia, how long do we have you for? I know we don't have you for long. So
10:36. I need to jump off within the next probably 10 minutes if I can.
Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure everybody was up to speed with what we were actually talking about, that Michelle used the cognitive movement system for that period of time. And then we got a big shift, which is really cool for those of you who have done a lot of work. And I would imagine this panel is a pretty high level vibrating group anyway, that you still can create a pretty significant shift for yourself. Now, the thing to consider too, and think about this, Bill, that was 30 minutes. We are going to have 2 full days of people processing, having their scan first, and then 2 full days of processing at the seminar, right?
Yes. And you're going, at the seminar, you're going to not only do cognitive movement, but you're also going to be doing additional things. You're going to be learning about your chakra system, and about how to affect all kinds of other changes and secrets that are known to very few. I'm very excited to share those other things with you as well.
That's the amazing thing about a seminar and about all the people that join, we each bring our own energy as well. And so once that group arrives, the shifts really start, which I enjoy so much about it, the seminar setting, about being there in person and actually experiencing those shifts. But what's cool about Psy-Tek is we're going to get to see it. We're going to get to know for sure what shifted.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna know it because you're gonna physically feel it. So it's real in your physical experience. But actually having the documentation and the scientific proof of a real laboratory that does these things is really valued. And there's another secret. There's another secret value here, and that secret value, which I did not know about, is they have this wonderful chart here, and you see all these lines here. This is not something we knew we were getting on the test, but it has basically these lines are before and after, and what actual, where that physical, like for example, your liver or whatever it is, you'll see where you're off. Okay, what happened here with the liver? The liver got depleted. Which liver, we know that holds anger and that sort of thing. So you get some real good data, which can really help you. I got to tell you, one other thing that happened with Michelle after the fact is that she called me up really excited. She says, "I'm losing weight," and I don't. After she did this, she's actually losing weight in inches. She could feel her clothes losing weight in inches, and that again, this higher percentage of brain activity and the releasing of issues, she actually wants to exercise. It's not like before for her it was like I don't really want to do that, but now she actually wants to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep. And I'd like to put that in terms of energy, because almost think of the stagnant energy. I know in Ayurveda, it's almost like the different doshas, the kapha dosha, it's more so slow. But once you get the chi moving through, think of each of the energy fields. So once it gets flowing, it's not that stuck, almost stagnant molasses energy. It can flow right through. So I think that's almost what you're seeing. It's opening up the floodgates of energy going through the body.
Right. Yeah. God, those Vedics, they it's so much good stuff that we're rediscovering, right?
Well, everything's about balance, because you do need some of that kapha energy. So I'm not saying kapha is a negative. It's just all about the balance of the body type, and then the energetic movement going through the meridians, the chakras. Everything is connected, as you know.
Right.
So I know we only have you for a couple of more minutes, and I wanted to make sure that we have some questions from the panel that are kind of scientific. So right up your alley. The first one wanted to know if the Bluetooth interferes with it. It says, doesn't the Bluetooth magnetic wave interfere with the measurement? And then let me give you the second one as well. The second question is, how recent is that device relative to Korotkov's BioWell unit?
I have the BioWell. We have several of the BioWell devices, so we're very familiar. I was just in a training with Korotkov probably 2 months ago, and had a wonderful few days of conversation with him about his devices and such. So the GDV is his original, and it's more of the research grade. And then we do have the portable BioWells also. So, we have both of his devices. We love Korotkov. He's a great guy. And then in terms of the Bluetooth, this actual device, I'm in San Diego, and it was created here locally for military so that they could look at either Air Force pilots, their cognitive abilities, if they're exhausted, how far can we push them after 10 hours? What does their mental performance look like? And then they developed a device that could almost have the shock absorber. So it's for the Army. When they're in the Humvees and they're bouncing around, they had to have something that could detect the brain waves. And so after that project was complete, a few years after, someone called the inventor up and said, hey, we need to get this mass produced and out to the public. And so that's when the company decided to pull back out the engineering and create it for research and us normal folk. And so the Bluetooth, it has an algorithm, and I'd have to have them speak a little bit more to it, but I asked the same question. And it's not a noise canceling, but there's almost a 60 hertz, there's a filter or an algorithm that's built into the software that will almost extrapolate. It's a noise canceling in a way, but they say it's not noise canceling. So I hope that answers it in a roundabout way, but that has been taken care of.
I may, I'll just interject here. So alpha, beta, gamma, delta, right? Your
Cool.
gamma. So we got different wavelengths, and these brainwave length activities in our physical brain are considered VLF, very low frequency. So 3 hertz, 7 hertz, 13 hertz, and then gamma, 40, maybe 100 hertz. BLE, Bluetooth Low Energy, is operating in the way above. It's radio waves way above those VLFs. I mean, we're talking. I'm going to say, 2 gigs, something like that. They're very high, very high frequency.
And
now, hopefully there's a vast difference.
And very good point. And I might have been referring also to EMF in the room, so the Bluetooth, but also then the electrical, the EMF, the 60 hertz. So, because I know that they did tell us about that. But yeah, very good point with the Bluetooth signaling. Everything's frequency. Just grows,
Yeah.
I hope we answered that question for you guys. And so probably the question on a lot of people's mind is, how do they get this for themselves? So this weekend, the 14th and 15th in San Diego is a Cogno Movement Secrets of the Master seminar with Bill McKenna. And so if you are in the San Diego, LA, or surrounding area, or can get to San Diego this weekend, Bill and Psy-Tek are offering this testing included in the seminar. And it's the only time that this is going to be available, right, Bill? And then before you answer that, Amelia, would you share with us what the cost is if a person were going to pay for it out of pocket?
On this, by the way, just I want to be clear. Number one, I'm including this in with your seminar. It's $120 per test, so it's $240 of testing and reporting that you're going to get. So that's included with the price of your ticket. I'm doing it this first seminar. I am going to have Psy-Tek labs in all future seminars, so they'll be available, but you'll have to purchase it as an additional cost in future seminars. I just wanted to offer it this first time to everyone attending on the very first Cogno Movement seminar. So I just wanted to make that clear. The other thing is that Psy-Tek Labs is wonderful. They've got a lot going on over there. You may want to visit them in San Diego independently and get your own tests for imaging and brain activity and all kinds of. They can do so much more for you than we're just doing this one thing at the seminar, which is going to be of great value. But just to promote them, you can see them. I've been to their lab. That's where we did our testing, and it's worth a visit. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Amelia.
Thank you. No, I think you just answered it. It's normally 120. And I look forward to working with Bill. I loved his energy, what you were just presenting and our discussion. And I love it. So I want to support it any way I can. And I look forward to future research, especially with the neuroscience as well. So everything is energy, and I love you're getting the message out there and creating a shift. So good job.
So just to clear it up, each scan is 120, is that correct? So the before is 120 and the after is 120?
Usually, it's 120 for each snapshot.
Right.
So you get both the emotional and the physical.
Right. So at this seminar, the people will be getting the before and the after.
The before will be on Saturday morning, and then the after will be Sunday afternoon.
So that's an amazing, amazing piece. Plus, we wanted to share with anyone who's here, who I know some of you are already signed up for the seminar. So I see you, like I see Marina, I know she's going to be there. With the webinar, there's a 20% discount. So in the chat room, you can see Leah just posted it. The links, you need that link to get the 20% discount to sign up for this seminar to get the Psy-Tek for free. We are offering this seminar online as well. We have some people in Australia, other places who cannot arrive. So Leah will be facilitating that technology for us so people can see it. But the testing is not available if you're an attendee online. There's just no way to do that remotely for us right now. Is it available remotely in any way? Is that possible?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Although hopefully in the near future, the way technology is progressing, and I'm speaking with Karakov, so there's no telling what can happen.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. So, so everybody knows this seminar, the 14th and 15th in San Diego, this testing is available for free. 2 tests, the before and the after, and they get to take their test home with them, right?
Exactly.
Is it available immediately? Is it a printout, or they get emailed? How does it?
We probably, if we have a printer there, I can print it off for them. Otherwise, we can send an electronic version.
Okay.
However, I'll have to check with Bill. I'm not sure that we can release the before to them immediately, because in true research, this would then possibly alter the true effects of what's happening, because then they'll be thinking, oh, my solar plexus.
Oh, yeah.
So then it would be in their mental awareness to create a shift, which will throw off maybe a little bit of the cognitive movement. So I am a true researcher, so I can't promise. And people might be, I know they're so disappointed they want to see it then, but Sunday after the seminar, you will be able to take both the before and after home with you.
Yes, your comment is correct. We did not let my wife see the shot, right? Because we wouldn't. I don't want that to affect the results. So you'll see the results after you take the test, the after test.
And then you'll see, and it might be a good idea to even have the participants maybe jot down, where they feel the pain or the heat, the sensation. So then, they almost have a representation, a guide map. Because your wife, it was just so amazing, and she was already very aligned before. So
it's definitely.
And then I also want to throw out there, if anyone is in San Diego and hears about this, I'm going to go ahead and throw out a 20% off discount too. So if anyone happens to see this, or anyone that's, comes in through you that knows you, they must be good people, Bill. You're a great person. So I'd like to offer a 20% off discount as well.
Very, very much worth it. If you want to take a peek into the other realms from a scientific point of view, it's all, a lot of the work we do, we see the changes, but we don't know. And Psy-Tek labs can help you to know. They're right here in North San Diego. So if you have a chance to get to their laboratory independently, very much worth it.
Thank you.
Amazing. So I know you said that you need to go. It's 10:50. So is there anything else you can share with us before you go?
Well, do you have any other last minute questions, science questions I could answer?
I don't see anybody. Everybody, this is your last chance. If you want to ask Amelia a quick question, post it in the chat room. That would be great. I'm wondering one thing myself. We're going to use it this weekend for cognitive movement specifically. So are people using it with other modalities as well, or is there any benefit to shift in just having the scans?
I think anyone interested in their health and wellness, especially if they understand their emotional or spiritual wellness as well, because it's all multidimensional. And so this testing can actually show that. So let's just go back to the spleen. Say, or you're feeling lethargic, you might be able to then take a snapshot and see where that actually is coming from, what part of the chi is stagnant or blocked energy, so that you can start moving it through.
Smart.
That is a really good point. You know, we don't. I know there's a problem, but I don't know where it is.
Right. Yep. And so it's validation, you know, just like with your wife, I could feel it in my solar plexus area and she had no idea. And then you see it in the after effects. And so it's the validation to what you're doing and also what's going on in your life. Because take the liver, you know, once you repeat an emotional pattern so many times and you have that energetic blockage, it will manifest in the physical realm, and it will. So if it's in the spleen and it's really depleted and you're overthinking, or the liver and you're just angry all the time, it will have repercussions, and it will then resonate into the physical realm and start affecting the physical liver. So if you can catch something on an energetic and look preventative or treatment, you know, looking at the liver, knowing it's not just a liver cleanse, I need an anger management cleanse. You know, I've got to change the pattern to change the effect. So that's what I'll say too. I'm very passionate about it.
We do have one last question, if you just have a minute, and I'm not sure, it's from Emma. She's asking, does Psy-Tek, she actually wrote Psy-Tek, which is kind of funny, but does Psy-Tek use data analysis of the GDV, and then she's a question, and then BioWell question after?
Mm-hmm. So do we have yes, we do the analysis of the GDV, and we also have the BioWell. I personally had a BioWell before I even started with Psy-Tek. So I understand about the BioWell. There is a little bit of a difference between the two. So if you're familiar with the BioWell, you know, we can offer analysis of the BioWell or the GDV. We do take the GDV, the first Karat version, with us to research experiments because it just has a little more validation, just scientifically. We've been using it and it's just repeatable. It's very good. And the BioWell is as well, but it's just the GDV is more research grade.
Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah. It's a pleasure.
Okay.
I love speaking all about science and consciousness and energy. So this has been a true pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
We're gonna stay on beyond you and continue a couple points that people are gonna want to know about. But Amelia, thank you so much for being here and coming. And then, you know, I'm so looking forward to having you guys down at the show. And you're welcome to, as we say, I hope you can attend the whole seminar. And there's going to be things that I know will be of interest.
Of course. All of this is so interesting. So I'm really glad that we were able to connect. And Leah and Elizabeth, you two are fantastic as well. So a wonderful team you have, Bill. And I can't wait to see you and work together in the future. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. We'll see you next weekend.
Sounds great. All right. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Okay, Bill, we have a question for you from the audience. And I love this one because it gets us into the juice of what cogno movement can really do for people. So the question is, are we just going to work on one issue at the week for the weekend?
No. If we could, so what? Here's what the answer. The quick answer is no. We're gonna work on a lot of different things, and we're also gonna work on them from different angles. So what I ask when you attend is, before you attend, I want your 5 biggest, you know, and these are private to you, but your 5 biggest things, the 5 things in your life that are the huge problem. Now, most of you probably don't even have that many, because it's hard to focus on that many things, but 5 things that have just been ongoing, repeated issues, can't seem to get around it. No matter what you've done battle here for years, or it could be even, just for months, but it just ain't happening. So I want you to bring the biggest, baddest ones you got, and we're gonna have a list ahead of time for you, and we can knock off each one. The other thing I want to do is also the manifesting process. So we're with the Cogno movement is you're going to learn at the seminar about this energy field around you, what clogs it up, and what is slowing down your manifesting, and how to actually speed that up. And we're going to actually do it. I gotta tell you a story. That I had the experience of working on this, and I actually felt it in my body. It came in. When I did the whole thing, like so many of you with Cogno movement art, you could feel it. But you actually feel it come physically, like this sensation of it coming physically in your body and then down. There's, I'll have to, because it's a kind of a much bigger story, understanding. But basically, you're going to have the experience of Cogno movement for manifesting.
Okay, this is so exciting. I mean, there's so many different things to talk about. So let me bring you back just for a second. So you said when people come to this seminar, and I've attended one before myself, so I know, bring your top 5. So let's get specific. What are some things people can bring? Like, what are we talking about here?
Okay, so things that are in the 3rd dimension that are really keep you low down, right? Their reactions: grief, guilt, resentment, blame, hate, anger, cravings, all those things. Bring those things, those big ones, to the seminar with you. Write them down. That your big thing. All those negative self-talks. So what are we going to get help with this on a practical basis? So if you need help in school with testing, your mental acuity, how do I gain mental acuity to have higher performance? If you find yourself as a hoarder, or not a hoarder, but maybe you're a collector of stuff and you can't seem to get rid of it, that can really kind of clog up your life. If you're somebody who's a procrastinator, if you have problems sleeping, you're just, the brain is running, and you find yourself up and down at night. Those are the type of things that you'll find help with. Excuse me. So if you find that creativity in terms of on a daily basis is I have problems and they're reoccurring problems, they don't seem to go away, or the players change, but the problem is the same, right? You move jobs, you move locations, you change friends, and then that problem happened again. It's not a coincidence. Bring that with you, and we will help to move through it, and in a whole different way. Go ahead.
So you said something really big, and I just want to take you back there just for a second. So you said that if you're a student, a college student, or let's say a parent who has a child in grammar school or middle school or high school, a person could learn during the seminar to use this to help them harmonize their brain so they have more, they're able to pay attention longer, they're able to be in more alignment with their environment, their testing. What kinds of things within that realm can people address?
So what we're doing is we are manually forcing a higher percentage use of your brain. It is, it just manually creates a higher percentage use of the brain, and also this other system, right? A lot of times when we, that that one basically affects the other. My brain's affecting my energy system is affecting my brain, so they're kind of locked in a loop. And we're going to bust that out. And as we bust that out of your system, then you're able to make effortless change. Imagine that, effortless change. Big new successes that could be, will manifest themselves in many different ways. It could just be relationship, or it could be financial, which I've talked about in the past. So there's many different things that you'll be working on at the seminar.
Go ahead. Sorry.
There are other things that during the seminar that you're going to be learning about, these secrets of the masters. So, everybody, we've got these chakras, but what the heck good is it to me? I don't really care about that. What do I get out of it? So you're going to learn about what these things can actually do for you beyond just, it's stuck there and the issue is here. Well, guess what? There are certain things that you're going to learn about that are kind of jump you to a whole new level about what can I do with this chakra. And I think I had actually released this in one of the Facebook lives. Is your sixth chakra here has the ability to process the events of life, and nobody knows about that. Or you have others that can satiate your hunger and your thirst. You have others that actually my husband's lost in the mall. Where is he? How can I find him? There's a natural ability you have in your body that you didn't know about. How many of us are just run cold? We're just, I'm wearing, a jacket when everybody else is in t-shirts and a short. How would you like to be the person who's walking around, you don't have any problem now with everybody else can be in a jacket and you can be in a pair of shorts. There are these natural abilities that you have that you don't know about that were known long ago in the East, of these abilities that even few people still know about, that you're going to get to learn about. And they are skills that are just going to blow your mind. Yeah. So I'm so looking forward to sharing those with you. And they're not just sharing, their experiences. Every one of these you're going to do and actually experience. So yeah, anyway, I wanted to make that clear.
That's really, really cool. I mean, I love that it's not just learning the cognitive movement pattern and process, but the deeper understanding beneath them. So, which brings me to, we have two questions from the audience that I'd like to address. This one is, what's your understanding on on your soul path's allowance of release? So, how does your soul allow you to release? And the question is, some things don't seem to release without shadow work. So I actually know the answer to this, but I'm going to pass that on to you. How does cogno movement work in releasing a problem without doing other work underneath of it, like shadow work?
Okay, all right. So very good question. Very good question. Because what I found, right, and I'll just use myself as an example, my pre-awakening, if you will, I would change locations, change friends, change whatever. And then magically it would be like, oh my God, it's like the same thing is coming up. And I got rid of this one dude and now another dude's taking their place and they're doing the same damn thing. How the heck can this happen? So to your point, is that you will recreate a situation until you learn the lesson that they're here to teach you. That's my little baby. It's like a little. Okay. three words, and you'll learn this in the seminar, but I give you another bonus here, is, and this is actually kind of a big subject, but until I change my mind, the purpose of karma, which a lot of people don't realize, is really one and only one purpose, and that is to help me to change my mind about a thing. So whatever that thing is. And as soon as I change my mind about that, then the karma is released and I can move on. And this growth can be extremely high speed once you kind of understand how it works, and you'll learn about this in the seminar. The three words are, have I ever? Have I ever done something like that? And as soon as you kind of realize this is what it feels like to do it, this is what it feels like to have it done to me, and I basically agree not to do it again, meaning I changed my mind, right? And as soon as that happens, like poof, magically, like and I say magically is however you want to say it, weirdly or whatever, the players go away and no more players like that show up ever again. That situation just simply goes away. So with cognitive movement, one of the fast ways, right, is the have I ever, but you'll find an epiphanies start to happen. Once you've kind of unblocked an issue, you can find an actual epiphany about it because you've forced a higher percentage use of your brain. And in that, you're not myopically looking at that issue just this one little way that, it's like this, So hopefully that answers the question, and I'll look forward to spending time on that at the seminar, because it is the growth can be so extraordinary and so high speed. I have a lot of stories about that, and by the way, I take this medicine. I've been through this. I've got countless stories of my own where different people have helped me.
And Bill, there's another aspect of this as well. I know at the seminar you'll be teaching the map of awareness, which will be specifically addressing this issue. Emma, I think in another way as well. For those of us who are in this conversation on a regular basis, we're aware that we're moving from the third dimension into the fifth, which is what the map of awareness will cover at the seminar, which will give a deeper understanding of this. With the new energies that are happening, it doesn't have to take time for things to shift as it did in the past. And also the other thing to keep in mind is cognitive movement is a brand new technology. It combines many, many of the things that you may have learned in the past into one thing along with brand new technology. So I think that's the thing to keep in mind, that where it did take time for things to change in the past, it's not taking time for things to change in the now. And cognitive movement allows for that quite immediate shift with also the after effects changing over time as well. Correct, Bill?
Yeah. That's one thing that I'm getting feedback from a lot of cognitive movement users now globally is that they do the movement and they like, well, I don't know, I did it, and but then over the course of a week, all of a sudden they're noticing that change. They were like, wow, that's strange. I don't feel that way anymore. And a situation occurred and I just didn't feel anything about it.
Kind of like you shared with Michelle. You know, things are shifting for her in a way that she didn't expect, like weight loss, where it wasn't even necessarily what she was working on.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah.
So I have a question that I know you're going to love. This is from Jan. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't read. Jan Robinson asks, can cognitive movement also work for relieving chronic back pain?
Oh, okay. This is really a good question. So you'll see I'm going to give this two answers. So the first answer is, I did a Facebook Live recently that talked about back pain and the realizations that make back pain go away. And what I mean by that is I discovered that certain realizations, just a change of mind, will cause you to literally within minutes that the area heats up and it goes away. It's quite amazing. Just a second. Just a minute. I need to mute. I'm sorry.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Got it.
You got it? Okay. So, anyway, so two answers. Number one, I did an interview, and it's on YouTube. If you look up Bill McKenna spine hacks with Regina Meredith, so it's on YouTube. There's a whole interview related to just the spine, and you can see that on YouTube for free. I also did another one on Facebook Live, and I think it's posted on Facebook. It's and that I only did the lower part of the spine on that Facebook Live, and you'll enjoy that. The last thing is related to cognitive movement. You could try with cognitive movement, focusing on it and see what happens. You can also learn about the realizations and meaning. Let's say, for example, the base of the spine, typically at the very, very base, is going, if it's painful there, is you have some feelings around finances. So those feelings around finances are, I don't know how I'm going to make my bills. Oh my gosh, impending financial doom. I'm going to go homeless. Something along those lines. Just a repetitive, perpetual kind of, oh, my bills are coming due. That type of thing. How am I going to make it? Or my parents. How am I going to support them? Or what's going on with them? Or my children. So it's financial issues. And the realization, right? Well, if you just focused on those fears and did the cognitive movement ball, you'll notice those fears going away, and then you notice what happens with your back. Or you can try the simple realization that you're now a certain amount of years old, and you realize that your entire life you were born, you had food to eat, a place to sleep, and clothes on your back, and you always made it. And your fears really never came true. I mean, you adjusted over time, but you always made it. And with that simple realization and applying that truth to what's going on in your life now, you'll be amazed. I mean, literally, you'll feel that area heat up and the pain goes away. And it's like, what the heck? I just spent 20 years with back pain, and simply I was just a thought. So anyway, hopefully you can utilize that if you find yourself with the base of the spine back pain.
I love this question, and I think it's so cool that you're explaining that it's not, there's back pain. We have a physical sensation of pain that may be an issue, something else. So you can address it both ways. You may come to cognitive movement, come to the seminar, or come to your own practice with a problem about money, and find that a pain in your back goes away too. Or you can come to cognitive movement the other way with the pain in the back and find that the other problem starts to relieve. So that's a pretty cool thing. I have a quick story about this. Bill helped me with this as well. I had a low back pain that was just ongoing, and all the regular things I was doing wasn't helping. So Bill suggested this to me about the money thing. And I said at the time, I don't think that's right. I mean, it doesn't seem to apply right now. I don't know what I'd be worried about. Well, come to find out, I realized actually a couple of months later that I had boxes of financial information from a business that we had owned 10 years ago with everyone's financial information in those boxes, and became aware that that was the source. I mean, the energetic source of my back pain. So it really played out to be true. and was the underlying issue was there, in my house. So, I can attest that this actually does clear out once you clear out the underlying issue, but it can work both ways.
Yeah, and you'll learn about separating. A lot of you on this show, is one of the things that we worked on with her was separating. Because I have a lot of sensitives as attendees to my seminars, it's just natural that way that you'd be kind of attracted to over here. But learning simple tools that are going to change your life, in that you'll learn, how do I separate from others, and separate what's mine and what's theirs. And this alone can impact your life, especially for all of you that are empathic. You probably don't know why you feel bad. You just feel bad, and you're just like, I have no reason to feel bad, but I don't. I feel terrible. It is. The thing about being an empath is, and you may not know it about yourself, but is that you feel it, their emotion, as if it's your emotion. And as soon as you can realize, oh my gosh, I just needed a tool to separate so that I can not feel their pain. And it's not in a bad way. You can be more helpful to everyone around you when you separate enough that you're not literally in their pain.
Well, it's a really good point, Bill, and I think it moves us into a whole another conversation that we may not fully have time for, but so many of the people that will be attending, I'm sure, are empaths and have that structural situation going on in their body. And for those of us who find ourselves in that situation, we need tools to be able to manage how quickly the energy is changing. And Cogno movement is an amazing tool for that, because it's so makes you so focused in the moment. That process of moving the ball back and forth, your eyes following, there's so many pieces physically and mentally going on that the rest of it is able to fall away. It's a great focus. And for those of us who structurally in our physical bodies have that empathic thing going on, where we're busy changing everything around us, people, emotions, problems, the granite in front of us, we're busy, energetically working on. This brings us out of that and into that real physical focus, mental, emotional focus to get clear and get the separation that we need. And so that's something with the map of awareness that you'll be covering this weekend in the seminar as well, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I can't wait to meet all of you. I hope as many of you can physically be there as possible. If you can't be there physically, come on online via Zoom. You can, again, you get your tickets here. Leah and Liz, they got tickets for you. And we'll send you a little information about getting there early so you can get your test, your Psy-Tek Labs test, for the ones that are going to be there in person. And I'm looking forward to not only changing all of these negative things, but walking away with a tool for manifesting. So we've cleared your energy so that you can manifest what you want in your life in a big way. So looking forward to it. Thank you, Liz. Anything else?
No, actually just want to give people the opportunity, if we take just a couple more minutes, if you have a question that can be answered. Otherwise, people can actually reach out to you, correct? And ask, some deeper questions. Where can people find you and connect with you?
Yeah, Bill McKenna events at gmail.com. You can do it that way, and we'll answer your emails there. That's probably the best way to have any sort of lengthy questions that are needed.
Right, and then BillMcKennaEvents.com. It hosts everything that you're doing that's coming up and that where you're speaking, that kind of thing. So people can go on BillMcKennaEvents.com for that sort of thing. and then cognomovement.com if you want to see a lot of testimonials, a lot of videos of what's actually happening out there with people. Correct?
Yes,
and
there's even more on YouTube. If you type in Cogno Movement Experience, you'll see all kinds of wonderful videos about people getting over their cravings, or all kinds of wonderful jump up in life, type things that have happened. You'll find Cogno Movement. If you do want to ball, cognomovement.com, there's a link there. They're on Amazon as well, worldwide, and they're Prime, so you can get it like in a day or 2 days or whatever it is. But worldwide, they're in stock, and they're available Amazon Prime. I think we have them in stock in Australia, the United States, Canada, all throughout Europe, Spain, France, Italy, Germany, England. They're all in stock Prime in all those countries. And we can ship to, Amazon will ship to 160 other countries around the world. Just Amazon, Amazon.com. We've shipped them. They have, I guess, everywhere.
Bill, we had one quick question. Elaine is asking, she wants to join online, the seminar online. So for those of you who joined in late, we are offering the seminar online as well. It will be live, and the normal hours of the seminar, which are going to be from what time is the seminar starting?
For the people that are coming in online, we'll start at 9 and it'll go to 5. There will be a lunch break, and for anybody that's going to come in online, you need to go to Amazon and get your ball. You probably already have your ball, but if you haven't got your ball yet, go order it today, and then so you can have it for the seminar. Also, if you are doing it online, you're going to want, if you have somebody around that maybe can work with you, either that or you toss it off a wall. There's one last thing. I didn't mention this, but this is a really big one. One of the things that maybe some of you have seen was I called out to get people for you to work on. You're going to learn. Many of you, over 1 million people now, have seen the healing method that I did on Gaia.com, and then it was released all over the place. I mean, literally over 1 million people have seen it. And anyway, you'll learn how to do this, meaning how you can actually take away somebody else's pain in minutes. And so people that are in physical pain or emotional pain, you'll learn how literally your thoughts affect them. So we're calling out across the world to get people that are in any sort of pain. They will call, or we'll call them or dial them at the appropriate time in the seminar, and you'll be able to experience an amazing power that you had no idea you had. And it's very, very shocking to do this, but you're going to learn how to do it and actually do it during the seminar. It is one of the aspects of actually seeing what it's like for you to go from 3rd dimension to 4th or 5th dimension. And you'll experience like, oh my gosh, that is, I did not know I was that powerful. But you are, and it's very simple, and you'll get to experience with people you've never met, don't know them, you don't know what their problem is, and then they'll put it on a scale of 1 to 10. You'll do this procedure, and then you'll see, hey, what was the effectiveness? And it has nothing to do with them believing anything. You're actually just going to do it. So that alone is extremely exciting, and I know it sounds like that's just crazy talk, and it won't be real for you until it's real in your experience. Because, hey, when I figured it out, I didn't believe it either until it took me like 30 people, and then after 30 people, I was like, you know what, I think I got this, and then after 1,000 people, you'll be like, oh, geez, this is just, it's normal as drinking water. It's just it's normal as breathing air. You just understand you have a new skill. So anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's a really, really cool thing. You guys will love it. I'm so excited for everyone who's attending this weekend, next weekend, for all of the amazing things they're going to experience and what they'll come away with. It's huge. I have a question here from Elaine that I think I can answer. Elaine wants to know if, as an online attendee, does she find her own healing recipient, or does she get assigned one? So I know from our last seminar that we do have people already writing in and asking for the free healing work. We've put that out there to everyone. Bill put it out for people who want the free healing. But it would be great if you brought your own list as well. So if you have a list of people who want to receive a healing, we'll go through them first, and then we'll disperse out to people the free one, the people who have written in. Correct, Bill?
Absolutely. So the way this works is I would encourage everybody that's listening, email billmckennaevents@gmail.com with the person's name and phone number. They have to agree to take a phone call from somebody at the seminar, and they need to be in some sort of pain. Physical pain is the best because of the fact that, it's there and then it's gone, right? And physical is very, very, people with emotional pain, it's kind of nebulous sometimes, but they're still valuable as far as the testing goes. So you dispatch out there to all your friends and family, anybody with any pain worldwide. If they're in the United States, we're just going to need a phone number, and they're going to have to be willing to accept a phone call, and we'll get back to them with the date and time of the phone call that they're going to receive, and then we'll do the healing process. And then for people that are outside of the United States, they need to have an internet connection and Zoom. Now, Zoom is free. You can download it, but Liz and Leah will send you the link to download it for the person. We want to do that ahead of time so we kind of take care of the technical issue so that the person that's doing this online will be able to connect with the person who needs the healing. So if you do have a whole list, let's say I've got 10 people that I know that in my network that are, in pain, supply it to us and we'll distribute that to other people in the seminar that they do not know. So this is, I like to pair up people that don't know each other, right? And that way it takes out a lot of the person getting the healing is trying to to be nice to the healer and say, oh yeah, I think it did. We don't do that. It either worked or it didn't. It worked to the extent that it did, right? There's no belief necessary. There's no nothing like that. Go ahead.
We have another question. So in this case, does the person need to be aware? So are we doing blind healings, or do we really want the person to be aware of it? We have permission, which is important, and engaged.
Yeah, well, actually, specifically what I'm looking for, you can certainly after the fact do anything you want. But during the course of the seminar, the reason that we're talking to the people is so that I can have you experience actually doing it, and then you will know for yourself that it actually worked. Your confidence is built through your experience, and that's what I do. I give you the experience. So it's you doing it. It's your real life experience, and that's why we need to kind of interface with the person and ask them, hey, what is it? How is it now? Okay, do this. How is it now? That sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we are past 10:30, so we're about ready to end. We're asking, especially for Leah's and my sake, for the technical side, if you're thinking about signing up, please do it as soon as possible so we can get you all the information that you need, so we can make all the arrangements. If you are wanting to attend online, really important that you get to us sooner than later so we can get you all hooked up. We want to make sure that goes smoothly. Technical things with all of the high energy people that we're going to have, we expect a few technical glitches, but if we can get that all ironed out ahead of time, that would be great. So please, if you're thinking about signing up for the online registration, do that as soon as possible. Go ahead, Bill.
Okay, well, I look forward to seeing you in San Diego. I sure do hope you physically come here to San Diego. If not, we'll see you online. It's going to be very exciting, fun-filled weekend of growth and moving everybody to a whole new place.
Bill, I just had one last thing for as we wrap up. I noticed a few people signed in later, about halfway through. I just want you to reiterate that the online participants won't have access to the Psy-Tek testing. Psy-Tek testing will be free for those who are live and in person at the seminar, which is a $240 value. We can only offer it for free at this seminar this weekend. After that, it'll be available, but you'll have to pay for it. So if you want the Psy-Tek testing for free, this is the seminar to get it at, but we can't do it for online. It's just not available remotely yet. So just wanted to share that. Any of the webinar attendees get a 20% discount. Psy-Tek also has offered you a 20% discount if you are having the testing done outside of the seminar. So if you reach out to them, please let them know that you're doing so through the Bill McKenna webinar. And I think that's it, everyone. Thanks for attending.
Thank you. Thank you all. See you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.